Hey, we are Dr. Shane and Liz Watt, and welcome to the Be Healthy Naturally podcast.
We are doing this podcast because we are trying to bring knowledge and education to create a new way of thinking about our health.
Knowledge is the key to live a happy, healthy life, and our goal is to help you live your best life.
Thank you for being on this journey with us, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
Today, we have an incredible guest who works with people to gain clarity, work through emotional blocks, and really step into a life they love. She blends transformational coaching with energy work to help people break out of limiting patterns, build connections, and take aligned actions so they can move from feeling stuck to living with purpose and fulfillment. We're so glad that you're with us. And we're excited to hear about you. Can you kind of tell us more about you and who you are?
Yes, I am Janette Mondon. I live up in northern Utah, up by Brigham City. I've been in this work into the energy healing for 13 years and into the manifesting for 10 or more years, and then into the coaching for 2 years. And so just amazing. It's been transformational for me and my family. And I just wanted to share that opportunity with other people. So it's been a wonderful journey.
So there's a lot of different types of energy work. Can you kind of tell us sort of more of like what you specialize in so people kind of know what you do?
You bet. I work with the emotion code, body code, and I love that because the beautiful thing is I don't have to be there. They don't have to be with me. You know, it's more, what do you say, Eastern medicine, and I help people all across the world. And it actually started with my own children. I had my youngest son, my biological bookends came with a lot of challenges and emotional things that they were dealing with. And then my middle child got cancer 10 years ago. And so I needed something to help us go from survival to thriving. And the emotional healing, I call it emotional healing, but the energy work really saved my youngest son, who was suicidal, OCD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, all the things, and just needed something severely to help him get through life without taking himself out. And this is what dropped into my lap, and it was beautiful. And it has absolutely saved him. He's actually 24 now, doing well. In fact, he did so well that first year that I started working with him that his principal even and teacher were like, "What have you done to this child? It's remarkable." So it's just, in the sense that it's just progressed, and through word of mouth for a long time, people would just come, and it's been amazing. It's been something that again has helped my own family, but has helped hundreds, if not thousands, of people who I've come in contact with over the years. So it's been awesome. And then
so you really liked it last year because we had actually Dr. Nelson there.
Yeah, I actually didn't get to see him, but I have seen him many times, right? So yes, it was really nice to be in the same, so I could say, Bradley Nelson, and they're like, "Oh yes," went to his thing. So yes, it was beautiful to have him there. And again, I just knew that was what was for me. When you're desperate, you'll take snake oil straight from the snake. But this is what dropped into my, just a friend gave me the book, The Emotion Code, and I read it, and something really, I just knew this is what I needed for me and my family, and it truly was. And then moved on to the body code, and it has just absolutely been life-changing for me and pretty much everybody else I come in contact with who needs it. So it's been amazing.
So can you kind of walk through, a lot of people might not know exactly what the emotion code is and why is it, what is it that these emotions that are doing to our body and how they're affecting us, and what is it that we can do so that we can alleviate some of these emotional things, because emotions are something we live with every day, but
right.
Learning how to handle some of these emotions is what you're talking about, is really life-changing.
Yeah, obviously anything emotional that happens in our life they say within a year and a half to 2 years, especially if it's been something traumatic, will actually show up in our body somewhere, be it, they always say stress gave me arthritis or stress gave me heart issues. It's basically emotional distress that has done that. And we actually are born with I call it a little backpack of emotions, because we have inherited emotions from our ancestors. We have emotions that we can get from our mom when the last 3 months of pregnancy, and then we come down and we just have these little things. And especially people who are empathic, who just feel, that's I call it their superpower and their kryptonite. They see and just feel everything, but it's overwhelming at times, and a lot of that stuff just really piles up and piles in. And I have just really learned how to be able to figure it out. Again, Bradley Nelson takes you through this beautiful book, The Emotion Code Body Code, teaches you how, and then you just go in, and I don't understand it all, but I have the ability to find it, to release it, and to give relief. In fact, I tell people the biggest thing I can do for you is to give relief and to give hope. Heal the relationships that might be tender or just bad, and if you have a pain that comes out of nowhere, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an emotional pain that comes in and goes to the weak part of your body. My daughter, who has cancer, I've actually learned a cancer protocol from another person who has done the Emotion Code Body Code, and just being able to keep the tumors cleaned out, because a lot of the emotions you go through will go through the weak part of your body, and just be able to clean that out. And she's can't get her cancer out, but she's been very stable for over 10 years, and she does take a daily chemo, which is helpful. And everybody has their own journey, but it's just been fascinating. Just the ability to find and release, again, mostly Eastern medicine, everything is energy, and just having that opportunity to find it, to let it go, to give the relief. And for some people, it is an immediate relief. For others, it takes a day or two to process. And then it's just like, I just feel a little bit better today. And we're all like layers of onions. Sometimes it's different layers. But the beautiful thing about what I do is, eventually, if I work people, sometimes I have to work with them for a week at a time at first, then it spreads out. And then honestly, it gets to the point where they just call me, or I work on them when they've had a situation come up that's just off. And the beautiful thing is, because, and I hope this isn't wrong, but if it's a parent who has a child that is struggling, I actually can, through the permission of the parent, can work on the child. And half the time they don't even know that I'm working on them. And they can just feel an immediate relief. If they're having a fall apart, we just release what's sticking in, holding them back. It goes through, and they can immediately calm. And I can actually, and have been able to take people off the edge of suicide, which I also say call 911 if we need it, right? But also in the process, I can actually help release a lot of those really strong emotions. I had to do that with my own child at one time, and by the time we called for help, he had calmed down, all was well, and he still went to a behavioral unit to get some help, proper medication, all the things. But he was very receptive to everything, wasn't defiant, and just did really, really well to help him. So that's what I love most about it, is just releasing that really intense feeling some people can have, or the fall aparts, or if they've had things happen at school and they just need some help to help it pass through. That's a beautiful thing that I can do. So it's pretty amazing. It's been life-changing for us.
So we went to a St. George event, 6 months ago, something like that, and actually Bradley Nelson was the guest speaker, and he actually brought somebody up on stand and went through stuff. And it's crazy to how, this went back to 8 years ago when this happened, or this went back to when you were 5 years old when this happened, and this went back to, because it has the code is the whole chart that has, so you ask if it's in column A or column B and different things like that, for those people who aren't aware of it. But for him to go back and figure it out, I mean, it's kind of crazy where all these things can happen. It's like, people don't even realize that is something that's bothering them, that's one of the things that is the hidden emotions, right?
Right. I actually was working with a client just the other day, and he had a lot of self-deprecation that he was doing, and we were able to work specifically on that and how far it goes back. And it actually came up with a dad and different things that might have just been said nonchalantly or not, or something out of, something, and it stuck with them. and it was just carried forward, and everything he did, he didn't take credit for his ideas. He felt like he wasn't smart like his siblings, all these things. And it goes back to a certain point. And I am actually able to go back at times like Dr. Nelson and actually find kind of the year that might have happened. That's all. It's always amazing, never surprising, but always amazing to me how you can find in people be like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what that was. Exactly what that was. And it's just crazy, but it is. I'm so grateful for him, for the inspiration he's had, because he's absolutely changed thousands of lives. And I'm just grateful to be one of his people that can do this. So it's just been awesome. And it goes right along with the life coaching. So it's been a really powerful combination for me.
So how can really smart people still feel stuck in these emotions?
You know, I actually just did a podcast on this, and it is amazing. Smart, capable people are actually almost too smart. Not, I wouldn't say too smart, because they overanalyze. They want to do something, but they see all the pitfalls before it starts. In fact, I had a neighbor, a very good friend in mind when I was doing this, because it's almost crippling to make a decision, because he sees all the possibilities that might go wrong, and all the things that, what if I choose it wrong and then I don't like it a year down the way or whatever. And that's what happens, is when we are smart, capable, we overanalyze mainly. And so it's just learning how to, the thinking process, notice what we're noticing that's going up here. Am I overanalyzing? Am I that things? And actually, some people who are less smart can actually achieve more because they're willing to take the risk. When super smart people, they worry too much about the outcome. They worry too much about what people might think and stuff like that. And so it's just, helping them teach. Just sometimes we have to do things afraid. Sometimes we have to do things without knowing all the answers. In fact, really successful people go in and choose something without knowing what or how it's going to come about. They just know, I'm going to decide to do this. And they start the process. And once we start the process, smart, capable people can actually get unstuck. It's just making that decision to move forward, to decide on this particular thing, and then go with it. Tweak things as they come in. But, a lot of times it's just doing things afraid. And then also working around that subconscious brain that really wants to stop us, keep us safe. It's kind of like it gets in the passenger seat, or in the driver's seat, and you're like, nope, move over. I'll take over. So that's kind of my answer for that.
I always talk about that emotions are, they are actually a gift that we have been given for this life, because that's what makes us feel things. And a lot of times these emotions then, they just get stuck within us that don't help us progress, and they keep us back. But if we learn how to work through these emotions, because they are a gift, this is how we experience life, and we're able to see the beautiful things within our lives. But if we could just, those negative things that come to us, and sometimes it's even the positive ones, if we could just learn how to work through those,
right,
we're able then to see a beautiful thing that before it actually ended up to be something that was negative.
right. And that's so true. And when we have really big trauma that comes into our life, there's such an emotional thing that happens with it. That's why it makes it so traumatic. That's why it makes it so memorable. That's why it makes it stick, because of the feeling tone behind it, the emotions behind that. And just being able, and like you said, a lot of those are super stuck, trauma, abuse, all those kind of things, the memories. And through the emotion code, body code, you're actually able to diffuse that memory, to be able to move things through, so that it basically just pass them through the body to be able to move forward. And you remember, but you don't remember with all the feeling tone and all the trigger things. I've been able to help a dear friend that was abused as a small child for years, and to where she would actually disassociate from herself. She would split into almost an 11-year-old, versus the 60-year-old that she was. And she tried everything. And the emotion code, body code, was one that was absolutely profound for her, to release those past, to dull the memories, to get her to move forward. And she has not disassociated for years since working with her. And it's just been, she's actually one of my most powerful, she's a dear friend, but also a very powerful advocate of what I do, because she says it is life changing for her. that she can absolutely move forward. In fact, she just said the other day, we were together for lunch because it was her birthday, and she just said to me, she said, you know, Janette, I can look back on that time in my life and just go, you know, that was a part of who I was, but not who I am. And that was so amazing to me because it was such a huge part of her overall being and self-worth and everything, to be able for her to say that I can just look at it now and just go, that happened, but I'm okay. That was powerful for me and for her.
So I see that, parents sometimes really struggle with their kids and they just want to be able to fix a lot of things. And a lot of times we can't. But this is actually a tool that we can use that, you don't have to be a practitioner. Moms can just sit on the couch with their kids and just work with them and be able to calm them down. Can you kind of give some advice to some parents in this way?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I have taught many moms that you can do this too. And just call me if it gets worse. If we can, because, sometimes you're so involved in it. But I do have some moms who, I have a mom that, she was calling me a lot for help, and I was kind of teaching her how to do this, and just to to release and to think of, even if you don't know exactly what they're going to think of what it is that's bothering them, release it. And again, the releasing, Dr. Nelson goes over the head at times, over the meridian. But also, I was taught actually by just a person that was in one of his conferences, one of the first conferences I went to, that your middle finger is actually your body and the head and the spine. So I actually released just like that. And again, I think it's more intention than anything, because things have changed. So that might be weird for some people. But I actually just release that way, so I don't have to look like I'm fixing my hair all the time in public, and I can actually do it under, but a parent can absolutely do that. Even soothing a child down the back is helpful. Whatever you're experiencing, I'm just going to release and let it go. And yeah, a parent can do so much just with the intention of trying to help let go. You don't have to know exactly what it is. You just have to have that intention that I'm letting it go and helping them move forward. And it is powerful. It is absolutely powerful.
So Liz actually is certified in the emotion code, right? I mean, you did it several years ago and stuff, and that was one of the things that she did that along with other things when she was actually seeing clients and stuff like that. She hasn't done that for a little while, but I mean,
that's because I'm too busy doing this stuff and Be Healthy Utah now.
Amen.
But
time and
yes,
season.
with that, yes, but there was a lot of people that she was just able to help just because she would just get inspiration on stuff that they needed, and then be able to help them just work through it. And that was just one of the things. I don't think it was the only thing that she used, but it was definitely one of the things that she used in the training that she did.
Yeah. And what I love too is that people, they do know, and I think they're inspired too. Their higher power, whoever, God, the universe, whatever they believe in, does send them. And I have people who will reach out and say, I don't know why I'm talking to you about this, but I just feel your name came to me and I just need help, and this is what I'm dealing with. I'm like, it's because I can actually do something about it for you. And so just, that opportunity. And I was actually pretty quiet about it because it is different. It's a different level of learning, or a different level of, the Eastern medicine. A lot of us in the Western are take a pill, cut it out. And actually my beautiful extended family, a lot of it, they don't get it. And that's okay. It's my dream, not theirs. And I'm just like, well, that's too bad for you, but oh well. But for me, I needed it for my own children. And then my higher power, God, has sent people to me over the years. And this past year and a half, I've actually been very vocal about what I do. I joined a BNI, and I was just told, Janette, these people need this, and they have people they know. So between that and the beautiful second part of it, which is the life coaching, absolutely comes in, and I have helped so many people that they have sent my way to be able to. So I'm more loud and proud about it. Because people don't understand. So there's a little bit of prosecution, a little bit of a misunderstanding, the woo-woo, the voodoo. I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't get it. But boy, once you get into this world, it is absolutely, that's what I love about the conference you guys hold, is we're all like-minded. And it's like, these are my people. I can talk to them. I love it. We're all, I don't know why they call it alternate, because it really is back to the basics of what we used to do.
Well, that's kind of our goal, is we don't want alternative healthcare. We want it to be the standard, not the alternative. That's kind of
Amen. And I love that. And I love just being there with these beautiful souls that are also in the same mind frame, the mindset. And it is just beautiful to have that. So yeah, Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, and it's a beautiful, powerful gift. I feel I have. I think a lot of people can do it for sure, but I think that I think you're kind of called to it too. You know, like you said.
Well, yeah, well, everyone has different gifts, right? And so
Right, right.
some people they can do it for themselves, other people they can do it as a practitioner. Some people try doing it as a practitioner, they just, they
Yeah,
don't do as well, but the idea and the understanding can always be beneficial for many different
absolutely.
factors.
I just thought I would do
That's
it
why
for my.
she's the calmer parent and I'm not, because she has all these other skills and I don't.
Well, on that calmer parent thing, I love that because, I had 3 kids all stretched out. And by the time I work a lot on myself and my husband, we are totally different parents because we are calmer parents. We understand. You look at first of all, we've taken away all of our backpack of emotional crap and we can respond instead of react. So even when big things come down the pipe, we're like, okay, let's look at the big picture. Okay, and we handle things so much better than we ever did with our poor first child, even our second one. By the time the third one got here, and I think God was preparing us because by the time the third one came, we had a lot of different things, but we were in a much calmer state because we actually released our mess and were able to just go, okay, what's the real, and just help him just grow up to be a beautiful soul and achieve his very best. And I think God gave him to us because he needed us. We also needed him to learn what we needed to learn. So, and my husband, I have to say, at first was like, what the heck is this? Weird. To, oh my heck, would you please clean me out? Because, oh, it's been a rough day. And I just, all these things. And so, yeah, it's been amazing to watch the transformation in our lives the past 13 years to become actually, and you know what? It's so amazing that actually I used to be jealous of other people if they had kids that struggled because I've had my oldest two have struggled in different ways. And I used to be jealous of other people and their perfect children, which nobody has, right? But now I'm like, I am happy for you and I am so hopeful for me. And that is a huge vibrational shift for me. I'm happy for you. We can do that in health and everything. I am happy for you that you have great health, but I'm hopeful for me. And that shift has been so powerful. And also just the hope and the relief you can offer through this emotional healing and just different things that God has blessed us with through inspired people who have just made life amazing. And there's so many things out there that we just, are available if we just look for them.
That's a
So
good saying. I
that's
like that. Happy for me, hopeful.
happy for
Happy for
you,
you, helpful for me.
hopeful
for
for
me.
me. Look
Pretty
at
close
it.
there.
But
Took
So
me
it
a second.
is better.
when I look at energy, so we can think, everything in this world is made with energy. And so
Yes.
that is how, like with energy work, that's how you can kind of look at that. Everything is made with energy. So for anything to move and change, then energy needs to be involved with it. But then we have, more of the analytical thinking of life and of people and how they process things. And it's really about bridging this gap. But if you look at what is the things in life that if you're not looking at the energy part, but if you look at we have what happens within our bodies when we do get stressed. Our cortisol raises. We have chemicals within our system that release, and in that process it changes different things within our body. So if we can look at it even in that way, that if we can control these emotions, then we're
Yes.
not having these chemicals that are being released within our body, which then later on can cause these diseases.
Right.
And so that is the merging of the gap of bringing both of these parts together, that if you believe in energy, or if you believe that we have our bodies have chemicals in it that are being released at the time, that no matter how you look at it, it is learning to deal with our bodies in a natural way that is going to bring more peace and comfort into our
Oh,
lives.
absolutely. I've often said that, we have inherited emotions that come down the line. And I often think that, actually you can identify which ancestor it was, and also in that I think about, my theory is that they had a really big emotional experience that absolutely changed the chemicals in their body. If you have a man who fathers a couple of children, goes off to war, all the things he experiences comes back and father another child. There will be things in the last child that he's instilled in them just from the emotional stuff he went through. So they get to have that little backpack come through. And I found that if there was an abandonment or anything like that, that child, or the one who inherits it, has that propensity to feel like they're abandoned in life, or they don't have that there's a lot of betrayal or whatever that is handed down the line. We just have that it's kind of a weakness, I feel, or just a propensity to go, gosh, effort unreceived. They don't appreciate what I do. And then if we look sometimes at inherited, it goes back and maybe a great grandparent, 10 generations back, sent this shooting down the line, and you get it. And by releasing it, it really does lighten that. And there's not such a need to feel so abandoned, and also in adopted children too. And I felt like my daughter had a great situation because my middle child is adopted. I had the biological bookends, and she had a beautiful adoption. But when I went back and looked, there was a lot of stuff from just missing her birth mom, just all the trauma of having this mom for 9 months, and then and it came up and it came out, and just to help her get through some abandonment issues that she later developed in her life because of adoption or those kind of things, and just being able to try to let those go and help soften that.
So working with a lot of clients, I know you've come up with a lot of things that can help. What are something that somebody can do, a parent can do, that can just help relieve someone's emotions or even our own emotions in a moment when we really are in kind of a situation that just that change and shift can help us?
Okay, first of all, I learned that breathing is huge. Breathe in through the nose, really deep out through the mouth like a straw. That actually resets the sympathetic nerve in our body, and it absolutely calms us. It takes us out of fight, flight, freeze into rest, digest, create. And then if we aren't sure if we know what the emotion is, just picture, again, I release like this, just picture releasing that, letting that go, and any kind of negative influence that might have brought that in, but again, basically just breathing, picturing whatever that emotion might be with the child. Again, going down the back of the child, just releasing that is very, very good. And again, I love the Ho'oponopono. I don't know, but where you can send that beautiful, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Forgive me, thank you. We can send energetic, beautiful blessings to across the world, to school when they might be struggling. And I've released from my child, was youngest was really hard at school. I had to be on call with the principal all the time at first, and just with this emotion code, body code, I could actually check in throughout the day and know exactly where he stood in line. I knew where he was feeling, how he was feeling on a scout camp, and just kind of things, and release if things came up. And again, that might be overprotective, but you know that it's going to stress out the leader or the teacher. So I did whatever I could to help them, and found too that that was true, some of the things we went through. And is it invading their space, invading their will? It's like, no, we're just letting that go through. And then as you learn, and with what I love about my life coaching is then I learned, people say, how do I not fall apart? I'm like, I don't know. Good luck with that. Just come back to me when you're struggling and I'll take it out. But now I learned everything starts with our thoughts, and just having that beautiful, hope and thought. And what would you love your life to look like? And being able to design that and come from that. This is what I would love. And to teach our children that might be struggling, we look at what we would love them to look like, and then we treat them like they are already there. Because that energy comes from us in a different form, as like, oh my gosh, all the things. Because we were there, did that. And it's a different world when you can come treating them as you would love them to be. And it really does change everything when you can just picture in your mind what you would love your health to look like, your life to look like, your child to look like. We can absolutely manifest and help our children and all those that we come in contact with too. And just helps them get into a better space. So does that answer your question? Not sure if that was a good answer.
No, because really it like we want to have these tools that we can just pull out, and just breathing like you talked about, and also having that perspective change. So getting into the breathing moment then can help us to be able to change the perspective of and not be so hypersensitive.
That's why she always tells me, just breathe, Shane, just breathe.
Just take a breath. Before you talk to the kids.
Before you yell at the kids.
Just take a breath.
Right. Oh, it's so true. And can I just say, if I can remember what I was going to say, we are all spiritual beings, right? Having this mortal experience. And so I always say this is our mortal, and this is our spiritual person, and this is our mortal person. And if we can reconnect, and I help people reconnect to their higher self, so that's where all the answers comes from. A lot of times in this life we disconnect, and so it's just this mortal mess. We're trying to push, and when we have issues with each other, it's our mortal. So I know that people, I heard that 1 out of 4 families have a child that's totally disconnected from them. And what I want to offer them for hope is that your spiritual parts are still fine. They're good. It's just this mortal mess. And so just have hope and just be like, okay, it's not over till it's over. Sometimes we have to go with the bigger picture, that it's just this mortal, whether it's mental, emotional, all the things, and that our spirits are beautiful together. And so it's just getting through this hard chapter of life, or the dark night of the soul that we all go through, that eventually, and have that hope that it will be better. Endure, learn what you can through it.
So I'm going to use that on my kids when they're getting mad at me. I'm going to say, you know what? Your spirit still loves me.
Yes. Do. I want to know how that goes for you. So let me know.
It probably won't go very well. Hey, your spirit still wants to give me a hug.
Yeah, in reality, it is beautiful, and it is serious. Our souls, our beautiful spirits are fine with each other. It is just this mortal world, this mortal bodies that struggle, whether it's mental, emotional, trauma, all the things that they've been through. And we just have to remember that there is hope, and there are beautiful things that can be done, and it's not over till it's over, and just happy for you, hopeful for me. I think that's been the biggest shift change for me. And I can truly smile about some of the challenges I have in my life. And we do have challenges, right? We do have these challenges. That's why God gave me these gifts, because I thought I'd be the perfect mom, perfect kids. And it's like, oh.
I think we all thought that, but Liz has a very good saying that we're parents just because how do you say that?
I say that parenting humbles us and makes us realize that we're not that great of a parent, because we have so many different things that come up that and then Shane would always say, my kids are never going to scream. My kids are never going to be disrespectful.
I'm the youngest, so I had all my nieces and nephews.
And our kids are 3 times whatever we say that they are. So we can choose what it is we want to focus on. But, they are, if you're going to say your kids are never going to scream, well, they're going to scream 3 times more than because that's how life is. But, so you have, it looks like you want to tell us about what you want to offer our audience?
Yes, I actually have a free vision workshop that I do every month. In fact, was one thing I got to offer at the conference, was just that opportunity for people to come in, sign up, and come in and have a free 1-hour workshop where they can learn 3 key elements to absolutely create a life they would love. And just have, because it has to start somewhere. And a lot of times as we grow up, our imagination, we only use it to freak us out. And as you get my age, it's like, oh, what is that pain? Am I having a heart attack? I don't know. And that's when the imagination runs wild, But we quit dreaming a lot of times when we were younger, because people told us, oh, we don't do that, or it's too expensive. We can't do that. So we grew up being safe, practical. We did what maybe somebody told us to do. And you realize that you absolutely can have what you would love. And even if you're older, better news, because 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, the new youth, children are usually, a little bit more self-sustaining, and we can absolutely spend time on what would we love. And the beautiful thing is we don't have to know how. That's the science behind it. Our job is to know what would we love. What would we love? And that's it. And then I teach them how to find what would you love, and how to start bringing that about. So that actually by the time they get through this 1 hour workshop, they have a good start on what they would love in a certain area of their life.
So is that a one-on-one or is that a group thing?
It is actually a small group, and sometimes they're bigger. And I actually offer these. I go to businesses and offer workshops and that kind of thing. And just anybody that has an organization, I come in. So that's why I loved being able to present with you guys. And you can modify it to any specific, reason. Yours, I did it more towards health because the conference was towards health. So we really focused on health, but it can be in relationships. It can be in work, vocation. It can be in time and money freedom, as well as the health. And every month I offer that, and they just have to go to my workshop. It will have the next one. They can register right there I actually have one coming up in just a couple of days, but again, it's just an opportunity to come in and go free of charge on Zoom. What is this? You can be in your pajamas and just listen, because you will absolutely come away from that with some really great starts on a beautiful dream.
Is it usually a standard time, like the first Wednesday of every month or something like that? Is that how you normally do it?
No, I probably should do something like that. That is a very good thought. But
you probably should.
I should.
If you're going to do it, if you're doing it every month, so it's not
right. I usually work it around other things that I do, but Thursday nights are really good. I actually have one on Thursday nights, and I do Saturday mornings usually at 10. But again, if they go to my lifecoachingwithjanette.com, and that's JANETTE, go down a little bit, then that will absolutely show you when the next workshop is and how to register for that, and just a great opportunity to get something started. Because that's what it starts. You just have to start with something. And I feel when you get it down on paper, when you get clear with it, all of a sudden the universe is like, she's serious. Let's get moving. Everybody move out. She's got a plan. We've got a plan. We know how to move forward for her. So it's just amazing. And again, just the hope we can offer with that. We can dream again. And I love that. I'm helping a client right now who is just so many things going wrong up until now with life, and just her finding the hope in life and the opportunity to really have a life she would truly love living. So it's awesome.
Well, Janette, it's been a pleasure to be able to have you on and be able to be inspired to realize that, you know what, there are tools out there that can help us, and that we can live our best life. So go to your website. Can you say what your website is again one more time?
You bet. It's lifecoachingwithjanette, JANETTE.com.
Okay, good. Everyone go there and sign up for your free offer that you're doing, and just get on the path of learning to take care of yourself and your emotions, and also then be able to live a beautiful life.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being on with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you.
Your health journey is between you and your healthcare providers.
So remember, this podcast is for educational purposes only.
To stay up to date, visit us at BeHealthyUtah.com.
And please subscribe to our newsletter, where we give additional health information, health tips, as well as recipes.
Thank you to our 2026 sponsors.
We truly could not do this without them.